Am I the asshole for not changing my plans to accommodate my sister's baby? My sister just gave birth to my nephew last week. She's had several miscarriages. And even this baby was born 6 weeks premature. Understandably, she's being very precautious about who is able to meet the baby due to the surge of the flu and COVID. My husband and I are also expecting our first baby, but we're not due until November. This was a planned pregnancy and we found out we were pregnant soon after my sister announced her pregnancy. She was very excited to share the journey together. Before we had our baby, my husband and I planned a couple of last-minute trips for ourselves. We want to enjoy the last remaining months of being able to travel without the stress of baby while we still could. Months ago we discovered there was going to be a showing of our favorite play in a city 5 hours away. So we booked a fancy hotel, made dinner reservations at a nice restaurant, and took a couple days off to go. The day we checked into the hotel, my sister's water unexpectedly broke and she went into labor. She immediately called me and wanted me to drive the 5 hours back home. I asked her if I needed to be there, but she said the hospital was only allowing 3 people in the room with her, and one wouldn't be me. So I told her I didn't want to waste the thousands of dollars I spent on my trip to go to waste. She said fine, but that I wouldn't be allowed to meet the baby because I was traveling and who knows what kind of diseases I was going to pick up. I told her I understood, and wished her the best and to let me know how it went. Thankfully she had an easy labor and my nephew was born a couple hours later. She FaceTimed my husband and I telling us how it was a shame we couldn't meet him until we quarantined for 2 weeks. We said we were more than happy to wait. It had almost been 2 weeks when received a call from a close friend of ours who lives in a city 3 hours away that her husband, one of my husband's close college friends, passed away in an accident. The funeral is Saturday today, so we made last-minute arrangements to go. Now my sister is blowing up our phones and demanding we don't go because we will have to wait another 2 weeks to meet my nephew. I told her, once again, that we don't mind waiting to meet him, but she's saying that we don't care about him. I told her that I wouldn't expect her to change her plans because of my baby, so she shouldn't expect us to change ours because of hers. My parents aren't siding with either of us, which is making her even more upset. So am I the asshole for not changing my plans to make my sister happy? Not the asshole. Sister is mad you're adhering to the rules she set up. My parents aren't siding with either of us. Smart parents. Not the asshole. The passing of your friend, of course, was unexpected. You cannot miss giving your condolences. Thankfully your nephew is happy and healthy. 2 more weeks won't cause an issue. Your sister is understandably disappointed in the delay, but she needs to be realistic and understand the world does not revolve around her and baby. Not the asshole. You couldn't have foreseen having to go to the funeral. My condolences, and it wouldn't have been fair for you to lose out on your trip and money. Besides, you were already out of town when the baby was born, so you might have still had to quarantine anyways. Not the asshole. It's a newborn baby. You coming over to see it immediately isn't crucial to anything. Like, she can be upset that she wants you to meet it, I guess, sure. But you have your own life and it's not like you're saying I want nothing to do with this baby. Do not try to thrust familial pressures onto me, wench. What? Is it gonna remember that you weren't in its first month of existence? No, it's a baby. Not the asshole. You asked your sister if she needed you when the baby was born. She said no, so you continued with your plans. It's unfortunate that a friend died and I'm sorry for your husband's loss. Your sister is the one who is insisting you quarantine before meeting the baby. You're respecting her boundaries. Your baby is due November, right when they're usually winter viruses. I'd tell her the same information. Any bugs, travel, etc. She has to quarantine. Not the asshole. Life happens, OFC. She can't expect you to just ditch out of a trip just to sit in a waiting room. And then you followed her request to wait 2 weeks. It's no one's fault that the funeral was when it was, an OFC. It makes sense for you to go. I don't understand why your sister is freaking out about you following the rules she's set out. She can't try and enforce a 2-week quarantine and then try and complain that you aren't visiting. Not the asshole. You have a lifetime to spend with your nephew. You only get one chance to say goodbye. Not the asshole. The whole "you gotta meet the baby" thing gets intense and there's plenty of time. Having said that, give her a break and realize it's likely an incredibly emotional time for her. Do your best to accommodate and understand. But I see no wrong on your part here. She's likely coming off her pregnancy and postpartum hormones. But there is no good reason that you guys need to meet the nephew ASAP unless he's dying or something. I think it's awesome that you guys are willing to just quarantine until she's comfortable. But she doesn't have control over your movements or plans. Just over access to her immediate family. Which again, you guys seem very willing to work with her on that. Not the asshole. LMAO, you were already traveling and checked into the hotel when she called you. So no matter what, you would not have been able to see the baby if you left right away. She's having massive main character syndrome. Yes, you love your nephew. You are respecting all of her requests for his safety. And I'm sure you will be present in his life. But people only die once. You should honor your friend any way you see fit. INTA. Not the asshole. Your sister's logic doesn't make sense. Just traveling somewhere isn't inherently more risky than, say, going to a movie. Plus, she was actually fine with the fact that you traveled to see a play. She just was upset when you wouldn't leave immediately. So she says that you can't see the baby because you were traveling. But you actually can't see the baby because you didn't come home the moment she wanted you to. Your parents don't need to side with anyone. You're adults. You will make your own decisions regardless of whose side they're on. Not the asshole. How dare you follow her request? Not the asshole. You didn't time her early labor. You did not time your husband's friend's passing. That's just life. Not the asshole. You've got your own life to deal with. Sister needs to accept that. Not the asshole. It's a baby. All you are going to do is look at him. Talk about him. Ask how your sister is coping. Lie and say he's beautiful. You can do all that over Zoom. If your sister is that worried about germs, she isn't going to let you hold him. The baby won't remember who was there in that first month. It's like the first birthday party. It's more about the parents than the child. Not the asshole. Yes, it's absolutely the right thing for your sister to protect her baby, but she can't control you in the process. Your sister is obviously very excited about her baby and she expects everybody else to make tumhi baby a priority. That's simply not possible for others. I have a feeling this is going to be an ongoing thing when your baby arrives as well, and sister will continue to give unreasonable orders and be prepared for the inevitable. I've been a mother longer than you. Go to the funeral. Your nephew actually remember these few weeks. Not the asshole. I didn't meet my niece until she was 6 months old because that's when I could make the trip. The world didn't end. I still bonded with her, etc., etc. Sorry, your sister has a main character fantasy.